Occult Insomniac live stream for, I think it's April 22nd. I am just switching over. So I haven't gotten my restream set up right. So for whatever reason, it doesn't integrate the chat. Okay, there's some weird like camera stuff going, like the lighting looks weird on my camera. Huh. Anyways, as always, as I start off all my live streams, it's like, why doesn't this look right? I guess it looks slightly blurry. Let's wipe off the camera and see if that did it. Well, anyways, I look a lot fuzzier than I normally do, but nope, that seems to. Maybe it's just the frame rate's off. Yeah, I guess I look okay on that one. I don't know. The frame rate looks weird on YouTube as compared to my the other one. Anyways, welcome. I decided to get a new. Well, this is just a slightly different angle site in my house. So this is sort of the background of my occult library and part of my Dark Goddess altar setup. I did get a new chair because I've been wanting to get I've been looking at these different kinds of throne chairs, especially like the fancier ones, and I looked at them and I was like, what have you learned over the course of your life? The more fancy something looks or the more expensive it is, the less comfortable it is. I remember this was like 20 some years ago, but my ex-husband used to work at a bank in their office. This was during the .com era. They had these $5,000 leather benches in the office, and literally it kind of just felt like someone had wrapped a pallet of bricks in leather. So they were not comfortable at all for $5,000 each. And there were quite a few of these in the office, but hey, that was the .com era for you. So, anyways, may have to either lean forward or put my glasses on because I can't see the chat from here. But yes, this is my lovely new area. So I got a sort of a comfy chair. It may not be the most fancy throne chair in the known universe, but the problem I've had and why I've been filming a lot of my videos over sort of on the sofa there in the corner is just like, I mean, my desk chair is comfortable. It's just kind of clunky and slightly falling apart a little bit to keep rolling back and forth. And the other chairs I have, like dining room chairs and stools and stuff like that, really aren't comfortable to film in for long periods of time. And as I learned last week, while I have several floor pillows, because my altars are usually lower, yeah, I recorded maybe 4 videos. So say I spent an hour sitting on the floor pillow and was in pain for like 2 days. So, welcome to those watching. Don't forget to click like and subscribe if you haven't already. I didn't really prepare any topics to talk about in particular tonight, but if you have any questions, by all means, let me change the. I hate that it defaults to top chat instead of live chat because occasionally I will miss things if it's in top chat. Yeah, so feel free to pop any questions into the live chat. And yeah, so while people are getting here, I will just ramble. And these videos are always available to watch later. So one of the things I was thinking about today, was because someone asked me the question, and I've seen a lot more creators talking about like wanting to get away from Etsy and a lot of these platforms because we lose they're great, but we lose so much money, and there's often a lot of just nonsense we have to deal with. But it's so hard getting people the incentive to go shop from our websites. Like still about 50% of my revenue and sales comes from Etsy. Even though I've had my own website forever. I relaunched the web shop in 2020, and I'm in the process of redoing it through Shopify. So that should be coming up sometime in May. But like, I mean, the platforms are great, but it's kind of like, if you really want to support small businesses, go to our websites. Because, like, I mean, I'll be honest, like, I lose, like, every month I lose $1,000 in fees just to Etsy alone. And Amazon, there's fees, eBay, there's fees, etc. It gets to be kind of ridiculous. Like, Etsy charges me a shipping transaction fee, even though I don't use Etsy labels. I have a third party software that just I can print all my labels through. So, yeah. So yeah, it's. I think I'm gonna try, once I get the new website launched. I'm really gonna put forth a concerted effort to get people more inclined to get outside of the Etsy and Amazon thing. Also, too, like, I can't put all my products on Etsy, and certainly not Amazon. I mean, I would say probably my Amazon store has maybe 250 products as opposed to like the 350 that I have. So there's a lot of things I just don't have on there. Like, there's no way in hell I am going to put like the custom oils and stuff like that. There's no fucking way I'm gonna put that on Amazon, because, oh my god, dealing with Amazon customers. But anywho, hi Logan, good to see you. Yeah, so I hadn't really planned much to talk about. I'm just kind of talking business witch stuff tonight. But yeah, I've been enjoying doing the live streams again, and even when I don't feel like doing live streams, I'm going to do live streams, because otherwise it'll be like 2 years before I do them again. I'm not always good at sticking to things, and the most consistent person in the known universe. It's one of those things. Like, I think it's just the great neurospicy brain of, and then suddenly I have an entirely different routine tomorrow because I slept weird, and Sundays are usually my days that I sleep in that I don't have to be awake. Although the cats sometimes, Corey specifically, Moon could care less, I think, about eating, but Corey usually will wake me up at some point and be like, hey, I'd like some food, human. But normally I have to get my mail out on the porch by like 10 a.m. So that it can be picked up. But outside of that, like, I don't have any major restrictions. So anywho, that's the how Jen is doing version for the most part. But I've made a lot of headway on getting everything sorted for the transition from the Slim, for the transition from using Squarespace e-commerce to Shopify. So, it's just like, I imported a lot of stuff, but not everything. I didn't have everything on Etsy, and it's sort of just kind of going back and forth and throwing in some details. And I'm also taking the time to rewrite some of the descriptions, and get that updated too. Not that people actually read product descriptions half the time, but at least I can point like, yep, it's in there. And I link to a lot of the videos that I have on my channel that are like, how to use this kind of product, or, that sort of thing. So I usually kind of keep those in there. At least so that can answer some preliminary questions. But yeah, it's, I'm trying to think if there's anything. The other thing I'm working on right now, and hi Alyssa, if anyone has any feedback, is I'm trying to figure out, I keep revamping it, but like, The YouTube memberships slash Patreon memberships, I'm trying to rework it a little better. Like, I get a lot of people who sign up for the like, the general support levels, but like for the levels that are higher that would have content associated with it. And I'm just not entirely sure what people, at least for me, like I look at other, creators and the types of things they offer. Um, it's just kind of trying to figure out what works, within, the rubric of what I do. Because I mean, some people just do. I mean, I guess it depends on what your area is. Like, I don't really do tarot readings, so but some people, like, there's a step on doing tarot readings or astrology readings or rituals or things like that. So, but if anyone has any feedback on what they'd like to see, that would be awesome, because I just don't know. Like, I launched them about a year ago, and it's like I get like a lot of like people that will sign up and then unsign up, and then I'm like, why am I doing all this content for like one person? you know. So yeah, that's what I've been trying to figure out, Logan. Is he's said need to create some theme or some thread of consistency. Yeah, consistency isn't my specialty, but it's sort of, I guess, just finding out what people are, the most interested in when it comes to that kind of premium content. Because I was starting to do some stuff with like, healing or shadow work or self love, and it just didn't seem to. Uh, yeah, yeah. I think I just need to kind of really look at. I might like do like maybe a more in depth poll that I'll send out, through email and whatnot. See what people are really looking into, would really want to see from that, and kind of um, go from there. That's cool. Yeah, you tend to be most interested in people's personal journeys. Yeah, I mean, that's something, I talk about that a lot in my videos on my YouTube channel. So it's sort of like thinking about how I would translate that into something membership based. Whether it be like teaching something or like ritually stuff. So yeah, I'm still kind of trying to figure out what works, because I mean it's going to be different for everyone, that has Patreon. They offer different types of services, and the same thing for YouTube. I mean, I think all my memberships right now are through the YouTube channel. I used to have more on Patreon, but I kind of didn't do anything with it for a really long time. So that's on me though. And then I relaunched everything, and it just really hasn't taken off in any great capacity. Hi, kitties. Are you sleeping? Like Corey and Moon are currently. Moon has been passed out on the same spot on the sofa. She's very comfortable, curled up in a pile of blankets with a pillow. She's definitely a comfy blanket cat. Yeah, I kind of started editing through my memberships right now. Like, I have two general like support tiers. That's like a monthly thing, and then I do the Oracle readings one. That I think is $9.99 a month. Um, yeah, like sometimes it's for me. It's just like it's how it's how I divide up every each my days, and because sometimes it depends on what I have to, like, how many orders I have come in, how much stuff I have to restock, and then just doing being trapped doing mundane stuff like updating listings on the website, and just the admin part of things that come with that, and that can chew up most of my day. Like I have had so many new products designed, I just haven't had the chance to really. I mean, I've released a couple things this year. Maybe I think I did a couple new. I did some of the custom stuff. I did like a Baphomet oil, the Financial Uncrossing oil. I think I did a couple crystal healing oils. But after having to restock a lot of things, I did finally get around to making the first four of. I had designed some body washes. I don't know, maybe October or November. And I've had the supplies for them. I just did not have the time to make them. So I just, barreled through making the first four of those today. I'm going to see how those work. But yeah, I always have like a backlog of things I've designed. I actually can see my gigantic spreadsheet from here on my big monitor for my desktop, and it's like, here's all the stuff you need to restock, here's the stuff you need to restock for orders, and here's all your million things that you've thought of and designed over the years. So mentorship, yeah, I'm not entirely sure how I would arrange a mentorship in that sense, like to kind of put it in with a membership sort of thing. I don't know. Like some of it I just have to kind of like vet out and like think more. Maybe you should write a book. I wrote an e-grimoire, which means everything to me, but I give it away. Yeah, I've been thinking about writing. Yeah, I was actually just posted something about that on my Facebook the other day. I'm like, if I wrote a book, what would you want to see a book on by me? That isn't just the same stuff that's already been written. I mean, there's so many, poison path and herbalism books and witchy herbalism books and stuff like that, that it's kind of like, what area would I want to, how would I want to do that? I mean, I think eventually I probably would turn the accessibility magic series into a book. That one I've been thinking about, but beyond that, I'm not entirely sure. Thanks. Yeah, I have well, I have a sale going on for Beltane and Walpurgis Nacht through May 1st, so that's on Etsy and my website, Belladonna's Botanicals. Yeah. Let's ask, are you looking into getting any help with your business? I mean, I do have help with various things. It's just right now I'm in a weird place financially where I'm like, I swear it's like I get something in order, and like I got my health insurance that's mostly in order, so I'm saving like $300 on that, and then I'm like, great, I've got $300 extra in my budget now, and then my mortgage goes up by $240 because there's some kind of escrow issue. I'm like, so it's like it's always this, especially with the economy being in the United States, at least the economy has been in the shitter for the past year. So like I haven't seen as much growth as I had in the previous years. It's okay. I mean, it's kind of plateaued, but and sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. It depends on weather, around holidays or certain times of year. It tends to the summer sales, like from like June through September, tend to be really flat and maybe a little lesser than what it is at other times of the year. So it's complicated like right now because I'm also looking to move, and it's like I've got so many moving parts right now, and they all are not cheap. Because there's stuff I have to get done with my house in order to be able to get it on the market to move, and I have to figure out how to move. And, because I do everything out of my house, kind of have to figure out that. And then finding a new place, and because everything on uh, the housing market has been, since COVID, has been ridiculous. Like, I'm sitting here thinking, like, how am I going to be able to buy just a generic $300,000 house by myself? Um, because anything less than that is either in crappy neighborhoods or an empty plot of land, or needs $100,000 worth of work. So it's kind of like, all right, well, this is where I'm stuck. And that's even getting outside of the city. Like, I thought it would be a little better up, by where my parents live. Like, but oh no, no, no. And there's just a lot of financial headaches and stuff I have to deal with. So in a in a roundabout way, that's kind of where I'm at with looking into getting help with the business stuff. I'm capable of doing everything myself. I think I needed, when I was still balancing my day job, even though I was working from home during, from, COVID to, when they, told people to come back to work in 2020, late 2021. I needed more help then, because it's like I also had to do that whole job on top of all the stuff, and my business was growing more and more. So at that point in time, I needed more help. But oh, that's cool. Yeah, I will think about that. It's one of those things for me. Like, I mean, I do love the fact that there's so many more tools out there now to help small business owners. It's kind of like, yeah, I have Canva, and, I can design my little, sales flyers and things like that through Canva. Like, I don't have to pay someone a ton of money to design that kind of stuff for me. Because, I mean, they're kind of flash in the pan, or, a Facebook banner, or, thumbnails for my YouTube videos. All that stuff I can handle myself. Um, and I'm not great at video editing, but, there's all these different software things out there. But, and again, they all like add up, month after month. So, um, yeah, it's I have to look at some of that. Like, I had to Hootsuite just doubled their price randomly this year. Like, and $75 a month was a lot for just scheduling social media posts. And then they bumped it up to like 150 a month. And I was like, how about no? So I found one that's much cheaper. And actually, I like it a lot better. So I'm like, yay. Now I just have to find an email marketing program, like, because MailChimp I've had a free account with forever. They just changed their tiers around. So now it's like, yay, it's suddenly $42 a month. I did see one today that I'm looking at that's 25 a month. Yeah, I'm always juggling so much. Like, I don't think, well, at least I didn't know. I don't think most people know just how much goes into like running a business. Yeah, I feel that too sometimes, Logan. I look at, I'm like, how do I have so little money for the amount of sales I have per month? But I mean, a lot of that, goes straight back into, the business, or paying, the cost of living, which does not get any less costly every year. Um, so I think my mortgage went up so much because the freaking property taxes went up by like $1,000 a year. I'm like, why? I live in a fucking shithole. Well, I live in the fucking hood, basically. Um, So, it's some of that stuff where it's like, shipping or all the fees that come from different like Etsy and stuff like that. So it's just like, I don't know. It's constantly juggling. Yeah, I do all my labels and stuff like that. I have a lot of I have well, I've had different ones over the years, but I use a lot of the paid stock photo websites. So I use those for the backgrounds, and then I just kind of I have a program that I use that through where I get the labels from, that I can do all them myself. Do all my own photography myself, because I went to school for that. So, oh, thank you, Logan. Yeah, I'm looking to kind of because I mean I have a lot of general witchy kind of products or metaphysical. I mean, obviously more of the stuff kind of some of the niche things that are more on the demonic whatnot, is a little more of that. So I'm trying to kind of expand a little bit into the, you know, general woo of the metaphysical community in my offerings. So that's not all just, dark stuff. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, maybe we could talk about that sometime, Alyssa. Sorry, I got distracted by how my cat sleeps so cute that I often get distracted. I think like 90% of the pictures on my phone are of my cats just sleeping cutely. They look so comfortable. Right, Corey? Yeah, I've thought about that of offering like candle lighting, setting of intentions. Yeah, that is kind of the fire hazard aspect. Like, I mean, I have candles that I'm burning like over there, but I burn them when I'm here. But I always say I turn off my candles like I'm turning off the light, but I put them out before I go to bed, and if I have to leave the house, they go out. So it's just kind of trying to figure out a mechanism for that would work, because yeah, like for me a 7-day candle can take me the entire month to burn sometimes. So um yeah, I mean, I mean petitions, yeah, I mean I could see doing that. And also sometimes like it's with it being in my house as well. Like there's just times where like having stuff burning for too long, like I'll just be coughing all day. So like um I can't be like burning incense all day having sometimes depending on the candle and stuff, sometimes they'll just irritate my throat and I'll be coughing a lot. And then I'll be annoyed by that. So um ugh. Sorry, my brain just sometimes occasionally I'm just like, but it's interesting. After like I did last week's stream, I realized like most of the people that I had on the stream were all international, which was pretty cool. Um, That's cool, Alyssa. I'm actually thankful for the dark magic guidance on your channel on the get go. Usually see them. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that's more, I don't want to say basic, but like, just the broad spectrum witchcraft, occult stuff. Um, you know, a lot of my videos, are a little more. I mean, I don't do a lot of instructional stuff as to like, here's, candle spell number 50,000 or, this type of thing, unless it's, yeah. Also, too, with where I live, Logan, like, I can't actually like open my windows because A, it's so loud, and B, my house would just be covered in like dirt. Philly be like that. So it's like it's not even like I can ventilate the house well. Yeah, I agree, Slim. The basic stuff works, though. It's really about the intent of the magician. I mean, mostly like what I'm trying to get people to do is not feel to build the confidence to not feel like they're doing it wrong because they read it or saw read it in the book one way or saw it in the video done this way, and you know to kind of think outside the box so that it's not just, you know, I guess I was like talking to someone about this where it's like I remember in like grade school we would have to memorize poems in English class, and it was like sure I could regurgitate the program at the end of the week, or the poem at the end of the week, but like what was I really getting from it? I wasn't like inferring any meaning. There was nothing impassioned about it. It was just a collection of words that I memorized. So like kind of thinking it in that terms, it's like I do like all my stuff I do extemporaneously. Like I don't really use any traditional. Every once in a while I will if I feel moved to do so. But I don't really use a lot of prefabricated or stuff from the books written in the invocations or prayers or things done in a certain way. I just do everything kind of extemporaneously in that sense. Hi, Tesla. I actually like this setup. This the video setup I have going now looks a little better. It's a little more interesting than my sitting in a corner over by on the sofa. And so far so good. This chair I got and I put together all by myself, which is always a dangerous thing. Is pretty comfortable. So you'd be really interested to hear more about the neighborhood you live in Philly. Um, do I feel that the occult energy is strong there? It depends. Like if Philly is very like I'm in West Philly, so now there's different parts of West Philly. Like I'm outside of the University of Pennsylvania and Drexel demilitarized zone. Um, that's where they, all they really build down there are luxury condos for Penn students. Um, at that point, like there's really no affordable housing. Like there's beautiful neighborhoods in West Philly, but they're more less west than I am. They're more closer to Penn's campus. There's all these old, beautiful Victorian homes, but like when I was looking to buy a house, um I did not necessarily need a 10-bedroom house, nor could I afford a 10-bedroom house. At the time, so I moved a little further west into it wasn't that bad up here. Like I'm just like on the outskirts or inskirts like if I drive, if let's see where I'm at. If I drive, like say 5 or 6 blocks that way, I'm out of the city technically at that point. So I'm like just on the outskirts on the west. Um, it's not a whole lot up here. I mean, it's mostly just it's residential. Your usual run of schools and churches and mom and pop shops on every corner. It's a little bit of a food desert outside of a fresh grocer, but and like by me, there's one drugstore, but I don't know if geographically or historically, if you are familiar with the move bombing of 1980, was it 85 or 86? I think it was 85. Um, doesn't get it talked about as much as like the Branch Davidian stuff, but there was and this is like in the 70s and or into the 80s. There was a Black liberation group called Move, MOVE, and their compound was about what was it, 61st Osage, I think. Um, so say 6 blocks that way. Um, and there was a lot of at the time there was a lot of controversy between our very we Philly has had a long history of very corrupt politics and especially the police force. So this was, I think, during the Rizzo area or post Rizzo era. But anyways, in May, I forgot the exact date, 1985, after a police standoff, they decided it would be a great idea to drop an incendiary device on the roof of the compound for Move. Now, mind you, these are all row homes that are connected. So basically, TLDR, the cops, the city ordered by the mayor, dropped an incendiary device on top of the compound and consequently burnt down 2 entire city blocks of homes. So, and several people from Move, including several children, died. There was a lot of, there's people that I think are still in jail. There's ones that have got, or maybe just recently got out of jail. But I live in that area, so I don't know if that answers. I don't really feel a lot of occult energy, but like there's definitely like some spiritual energy because I know like one of the big parks in West Philly used to be like a Civil War hospital was built on there. So Philly's got like a lot of history. So they're like when I fire up like a ghost box or something, it's just like I get like 100 different things coming through at any given time. It's not so it's got a lot of spiritual energy. I wouldn't really say a cult per se. Although we do have, I think she's still. I'm not. I think it's a little more northwest, but there is like, for lack of better terms, a voodoo church up there. What's her name? Grow Mambo. I think that's something like that. She's the one who runs it, but yeah. Hope that answers that in a roundabout way of Philadelphia history. Um, I think a cool topic is how you dealt with public scrutiny, the judgment, and so on. Yeah, I mean, I think it's when it comes to public scrutiny, a lot of what I do is dispelling the stereotypes and mythos around black magic, left hand path, demonolatry, Satanism, Luciferianism. Um, Now it sometimes becomes a bit of let's just say there's quite a few people in the occult community on the black magic side that perpetuate those negative stereotypes. So it's like I'm always kind of in this point counterpoint of, okay, so maybe not this, but this. Um, I it's most of the public scrutiny, I think, just comes from either a lack of understanding, or yeah, mostly lack of understanding, or people just having a lot of preconceived notions of things. Would you be a symbol for your religion? Um, I don't know. I don't. It's always I'm just Jen. I'm just here to do stuff, cool things. Oh, have a good night, Logan. It's good to see you. Yeah, Baltimore, yeah, and Philly are similar. I think I think Baltimore is best encapsulated in the films of John Waters. Um, but yeah, Philly, they're gritty cities, like the East Coast cities, like Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York. They just have this like gritty edge to them. Like I'm always baffled when I go someplace like to another city. I'm like, it doesn't smell like pee and it's so clean. This is weird. I think like when I went to Seattle, I was like, I'm like the air. It's so clean. It's hurting my lungs. What's going on? Um, or in parts of California were like that to like San Francisco and like San Diego. Just like this is weird. I haven't been to Baltimore in ages. I used to go to the Maryland Renaissance Fair, which was in Annapolis, which is I think like a naval city because it's on the water. Oh, that's cool. I've been to Tennessee, but I don't think I've ever been to. I was more on the eastern side of Tennessee than west, where Memphis is. Yeah, there was the Incline Railroad, Lookout Mountain. What's the other place? Ruby Falls? Is that in Tennessee or is that in Virginia? I don't know. It was a long time ago. I was a kid. Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes too, like what I've gotten into, or what I want to look into more, is especially in looking at what trying to figure a good way to put this. Looking at like say Philadelphia region before Philadelphia got established, and we're looking at indigenous lands, like what tribes were here, what were they like, were there any, what was going on in that, because I had done that. I looked into that based on where I used to live when I lived in Georgia, and I was like really fascinated by the history around it. Because unfortunately, in the United States, at least when I was educated, covering Indigenous history was not really. We learned about the cowboys and Indians and Thanksgiving, and not a whole heck of a lot. Alyssa X has another deity been more prominent recently. I felt something approached me recently, but I didn't recognize who it was. Scared the hell out of me. It's possible. Sometimes different um entities will pop up. Or you could, or you start working with them, and or you kind of open the door to that. Hey Eddie, good to see you. Let's get this party started, PA style. You missed the explanation of where I live in Philly. Oh, really? I did not realize that about Memphis. But yeah, I would have thought maybe the other Gulf Coast cities would be have big hoodoo and voodoo undercurrents. But yeah, that's cool. Um, yeah, Philly has a lot of stuff when you go, and like I think there's a lot of early like Rosicrucian stuff, and you're going into the the Freemasons. There's a huge Masonic temple downtown. Um, so some of that stuff kind of came over and like during the founding of the city and stuff. Um, I don't know. One of those things I recently discovered, like there's just little pockets of like the way Philadelphia is there's sort of depending on where you're at in the city is depends on the ethnic dispersion in that area. Like when I lived in South Philly was traditionally like the Italian neighborhood. Over the years, there's still a heavy Italian foothold, but it's also where like all the Mexicans and Cambodians and Vietnamese live. So great food, but you have all these different groups living in one area. Like if you go out to the Northeast, depending where you are in the Northeast, or North or Northeast, you're going to be in Russian or Irish land. So it's just kind of like the ethnic clusters kind of go like are in particular areas. But I did discover this one. I just didn't even realize it was there in North Philly. It was this cluster like that. It was suddenly like someone just kind of like did almost. It was like this sort of like Spanish, Latino, Hispanic area, but neighborhood. But it was just very much designed and decorated to make it look kind of like Miami. And it's just like this one little stretch where there's like because I mean palm trees don't grow up here, in the north, but so they have these like metal palm tree sculptures and stuff, and that's where all the botanicas were. So I was like, this is interesting. I did not know this was here. Eastern PA has a lot of German pietist related spiritual movements. William Penn also refused to prosecute witchcraft. Well, there you go. Yeah, there's like with the Pennsylvania Dutch and the German stuff. Like we have like all like the barns when you get into the countries all have what they call hex signs on them, and there's sort of these almost sort of not I want to say sort of like sigils, but there's like different symbols for them that are all like on the sides of the barns that are like gigantic protection amulets or something. I mean, they're huge, but yeah, if you ever Google like Pennsylvania hex signs, um, or PA Dutch hex signs, there's a lot of lore around that. Yeah, I think Pennsylvania is where all the weird Germans went when they came over here. Because the area I grew up in, north of Philadelphia, north of Philadelphia, but below Scranton and Wilkes-Barre was all like Eastern European, and Germanic. Um, so more so than other European people of European descent. Like we still have like cemeteries that are entirely in Russian, or Ukrainian, as my ancestry was. Oh, welcome back, Logan. Slim asks, have you found most of your advancement magic from the following instruction grimoire books or by trial and error doing things your own way? Yes, to all of that. I am a gigantic nerd, so like I read a lot. I take a lot of classes and workshops, and I watch a ton of videos. Um, and I read, and I listen to audiobooks, and then I read some more. So, on average, I probably read about 50 books a year. I haven't tracked the rest of it because um so some of it's from that. A lot of it is things I've just downloaded directly from, the spirits. Okay, I'm gonna do this. What do I need to do for this? Okay, let me go grab this. Let me go grab that. Okay, we got this, we got that. And I just kind of cobble things together from there. And, you know, I guess it depends on how I'm doing anything magically, because sometimes it's a matter of just, going into like a meditative state and, communicating and channeling that way. Some things I do on the astral. um there's the wide array of energy work, and then physical, I lit a candle, kind of things. Or there's certain types of spells like I like, you know I'll do like a standard freezer spell for, if I'm doing anything like that, like a binding kind of thing. Or, I do a lot with candles. So Eddie says PA is literally where all the weird Germans went. Yes. Penn founded the colony on the basis of absolute religious freedom, and specifically invited the Mennonites because they knew how to farm. And because Philly at the time was all upper middle class Quakers. Yeah, there's a huge Quaker population here who would have starved to death otherwise. Yeah, there's like Quaker schools like the Friends Select, and University of Pennsylvania's college football teamers, the Quakers. Like, so he says, have you ever struggled relaxing and not letting thoughts badger you? Any advice? Sometimes it just doesn't happen. I find sometimes I end up in two modes. Either my brain just goes wee and then I fall asleep, or my brain just goes wee and just keeps going wee and then I don't get anywhere. I think it's just allowing yourself to be in the moment and to not beat yourself up too hard if your brain's just, spiraling around. So, and then just picking it up, either later, at a different time in the day, the next day, whenever, and try again. So it's definitely one of those. If at first you don't succeed, try and try again. That would be cool, Eddie, of an occult history of Pennsylvania. I think the closest we can get to that is those back, was it 20 years ago? Those the was it the weird history, or have that somewhere? Like the weird history or something, that PA. They had one for like all the different states. What magical books have been most helpful to you? I have not worked through any of the Mark Allen Smith Primal Craft books. I was looking at them. Um, they're just kind of pricey from what I remember. Um, at some point, I probably will go down that path. Right now, although I left it, my books in progress are over there where I was recording before. But currently, I'm reading the Four Daemon Queens, the S. Conley and one other author, I can't remember their name off the top of my head, released recently. It's Lilith, Hecate, Delipator, and one other who I'm not familiar with. So I just started reading that. I'm on the Hecate chapter. As far as other books go, I mean, it really depends. Like, I like to read so much that I literally will read anything. I'm just looking at since I have books behind me. I'm like, what do we have? I think Probably one of the best books, like if you really want to understand like Luciferianism and the left-hand path, Michael W. Ford's Apotheosis is really good. I was actually thinking about doing a sort of series, maybe like talking about the 11 points of power and the tenets of Luciferianism, or the 11 Luciferian points of power. So I was thinking about doing something about that, talking. But that one's really great. Oh, I mean, it really kind of depends on whether this book will go back on the shelf or not. I mean, I have books that are, I mean, I have a lot of like, I've got a lot of boring kind of like, or maybe not boring, I find them exciting, but like reference books. I'm not going to pull it off the shelf because I'm at an awkward angle and I would probably die, but the Encyclopedia of Psychoactive Plants is an awesome book. And that's my big heavy books area. Um, I mean, I have a lot of instructional books that have on like Reiki and doing things like that. Um, I mean, some of the, I mean, I have a lot of books on like herbalism kind of stuff and that genre, but I mean, as far as like one book, I mean, they're all, I mean, everything I've read has helped me in one way or another. I'm probably going, I'm trying to um, figure out how to do like a book series on the YouTube channel just because um, it's a little hard to, because I have to kind of be like, what do I have physically? What's in my audiobook library and what's on my like Kindle library or whatever of things I've read. So just takes a little bit of planning there. Eddie says my all-time second favorite weird Pennsylvanian behind Ben Franklin is the Wizard of the Wissahickon. He was a Transylvanian mystic who lived in a cave. Interesting. I used to live in that area by the Wissahickon. Um, I've walked the Wissahickon Trail many a times because they're at the end of the trail is an amazing place called Valley Green Inn where they have alcohol, bathrooms, and phenomenal food. I just haven't been up there in ages. It was easier when I, lived right around the corner from there, but now it's a little bit of a trek. It's also, we have in Philly, like, I, much to nobody's shock ever, is I love cemeteries. I spent a great portion of my youth either hanging out in cemeteries or doing dark and spooky photographs in cemeteries and occasionally making out with boys in cemeteries, but we won't get into that. Have a good one, Tesla. Do I have some symbol that serves as a portal? Serves you as a portal. I do have some symbols that I use. Um, hey, from the Cauldron, good to see you. And thanks again for the unboxing video you did. I forget what I was talking about regarding Eddie's thing with the Wissahickon. I'll have to look in that because I'm not sure if I'm familiar with that one. The Transylvanian mystic who lived in a cave outside of Germantown. Yeah, Philly's got some interesting like occult history and a weird things all around. But yeah, there's is it the Rosenbach Library? Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you for the super chat, Slim. I appreciate that. Oh, thank you from the Cauldron Witch. I decided I finally got a comfy chair so I can kind of after sitting on my floor pillow to record videos earlier this week and then being in pain for 2 days. I'm like, all right, we're getting the comfy chair, and now I can, have my official kind of YouTube setup. Because none of the other chairs I had to move around were comfortable enough to pull over here in front of my other altar. My desk chair, I'm afraid if I move it any further than away from my desk, is going to explode at some point. And like my dining room chairs aren't that comfortable to sit on for the length in which I would be recording a video. So, or they're very squeaky. So finally got actually this chair just came today, and got it set up here. So I do like this setup. This is my Dark Goddess altar. Kind of extends a little further down that way. But my books, the Morgan, all sorts of other things. So yes, I'm very down with the witchy aesthetic. I like to attribute my time in art school as to how I set up awesome ritual spaces and altars. Yeah, I dug up. I found my Babylon candle earlier this week. I was like, oh, I forgot I had that. And lots of random little crystal things. Like, I haven't been over here in a while. I need to dust. Like, ooh, yeah. It's just having to dust this whole thing is a bit of a process because I literally have to kind of like take everything up and then dust it off. It's a bit much. But I have a lot of crystals and things behind me too. What do I have behind here? I got cool stuff. That's all I know. Oh, I need to find a way. I need something to have my obsidian Medusa. I think it's obsidian. Yeah, it looks like it's probably obsidian. I need something to kind of like prop it up because otherwise it has to lie flat. And I don't want it to fall and break. But yeah, I got lots of stuff. Yeah, this one particularly, like, because there's so much stuff on here. Like, there's just all these little. Oh, clean that off. My septarian nodules or nodes. I just have like crystals everywhere, and then candles, and then little itty bitty things, and then more candles and more crystals, and all the statues, and then, it's gonna take me all day to clean it. Yeah, I love how septarian, like the raw stones, like don't look like much, but like when they cut them in half, they're real. The innards of them, or even tumbled septarian rather. It's not that interesting, but like I mean, look the it's almost like they look like sigils. There's one I have. It's on my desk. It's a bigger piece of septarian. There are spirits in that stone. Like you can see like the faces. It's crazy. I have way too many crystals. Way too many. I'm like, oh look, it's crystal show and tell. Nice piece of carnelian. I love carnelian tumbles. Don't look that great, but like, I don't know if you can see like the translucency on like the slices of carnelian. That's pretty cool. There's a little bit of delay on my video, so I'm trying to get this to see if you can see that. But yeah, I like carnelian. Yeah, no, the septarian, if you look them up, they all have these really cool. Yeah, you know what? I have a little pen light that I do use for crystals. I think it is upstairs. Yeah, I'll have to grab that at some point. What's really fun with crystals, if you get like a jeweler's loupe, like the magnifying glass thing, and then you kind of like focus it on like a crystal like this or something, like you can see all the stuff that is going on inside of them, and it's wild. Where is my pen light? I think it's upstairs. I think. It's probably with my jeweler's loop. Yeah, it's like when I was taking the courses on crystals and stuff. There's a lot of cool things that you can do. But yeah, you can get like a jeweler's loop on Amazon for probably like $10 maybe. Um, I think it's the 10 times magnification or 20 times. It should be all you need. Let's see. Would that work with the candle flame? Yeah, a little bit. I don't know how well I can. Let's see. I'm going to switch to the other screen so I can see it because there's a bit of a delay. Yeah, it's not really grabbing it that well. So yeah, it would be something that would work better with like a pen light. Also, with having the light in front of me, it's not necessarily grabbing it that well. Boop, boop. Yeah, I have a lot of really cool crystals. Like I get a lot of like carved crystals and just random things that end up in altars with a nice little half moon. What is this? Well, it's made in Brazil. It's probably just some kind of agate, I would say. It's got a little bit of druzy in it. You can see that. It's a heavy piece. Yeah, it's probably agate. Put it back in its. There we go. Hi, either Jose, is I'm saying that right? Josu. I am terrible at things, at pronouncing things sometimes. Yeah, like there's some stones that like if you line them all up together, it's yeah, no, I know who you are from Curtis's channel. Um, yeah, there's like some stones like if you really have to be good at identifying them, like because if you took like a piece of like what tumbled white calcite, scolecite, white agate, and lay them together, they're all going to kind of Josue. Okay, that's good. That helps. It's hard to tell them apart. Like a lot, especially with a lot of the black stones, like black tourmaline raw is easy to figure out. If it's tumbled, it tends to be a little more lumpy, for lack of a better technical term. But like tumbled black obsidian looks, and black onyx, depending on how it's cut. Some of it has bands in it, which makes it a little easier, but not all of it does. The only one of the black stones that's the easiest to tell is jet, because it's very lightweight. It's like almost like it doesn't seem like it should be as lightweight as it is. And I believe jet was formed. It's like petrified wood, except the tree was it's like volcanic petrified wood, for lack of a better uh yeah. So scolecite does have the it is very fragile and kind of granular depending on how it's like. I have a palm stone and I have some tumbles, but it's one similarly to like selenite. You could probably easily dissolve it or shatter it into a bazillion pieces. Excuse me. Yeah, the one I don't like, I don't have any of it here, is raw aragonite, or aragonite, Aragonite. The tumbles are great. The raw aragonite literally just looks like some kind of like you've got the bubonic plague and you've got like these pustules on your skin and it's all like your skin's erupting. Like there's something about it that just looks very visceral in that sense of, yeah, I think I have some like brown-ish tumble aragonite. But yeah, the raw aragonite, it just looks like, oh, you've got like, I'm like, you should be on Dr. Pimple Popper if you've got that. Yeah, there's something about it. Every once in a while, like there's just something where it's like, I'll just look at it and it looks like something different to me. Like Dalmatian jasper, which is like this murky kind of gray jasper with like black tourmaline flecks in it. And all I can think of when I look at Dalmatian jasper is it looks like slugs. So I'm just like, I don't want to use this. It looks like slugs. So sometimes it's kind of like the audio visual kind of impact you have or sometimes on things like that for me is the Thousand Eye Stone. Looks, I'm not which not familiar with that one. Or it has a different name that it goes by, because that's often the case with like some stones is you'll have like its scientific name or you'll have like a trade name for it, like noble serpentine, which is just like a lighter green type of serpentine, is also like it has a trade name or trademark name of heliurite, which is like Healurite. Some of the trade names for crystals end up sounding really stupid. Um, oh, cool. Thank you. If you send it to me on um, Instagram, I can take a look at it. Sorry, the table I have for my laptop is a little wobbly. So if I bump into it, it's like like earthquake table. Um, on Instagram. Okay, let me look. I have my phone here. Ooh, that is pretty. Yeah, that looks. I wonder if it's. Huh. I'm trying to think of. It's one of those ones that might have like another, because there's a lot of the Jaspers have different names for them. Like sometimes it's network Jasper or web Jasper or spider web Jasper. That it's all the same stone. It just has different names it goes by. Or like picture Jasper, sometimes called Picasso Jasper. I have a couple of really cool pieces of that, and it literally looks like paintings. Um, so I can see why it's called picture or Picasso Jasper. Or sometimes there's a name that's similar. Like one of my favorite, actually, I think it's over there. One of my favorite types of amethyst is called Brandberg amethyst, but sometimes because it comes from the Brandberg mine in Africa, but sometimes it's also called Brandenburg amethyst incorrectly because I think people are uh, familiar with Brandenburg. What's it? I think Bach had a Brandenburg concerto or something like that, or maybe it's in Germany. Sounds German, But anyways, so sometimes things have a lot of different names for the exact same thing. Especially the jaspers, I've noticed there's a lot of variations there. And there's some things that are called jaspers that aren't actually jasper. Like ocean jasper, I don't think is technically a jasper, but somehow that's the name it goes by. Oh my goodness. Corey is snoring on the sofa, and he's just so cute. He's got a little cat snores are funny. Yeah, I mean there's so many different types of stones, and sometimes their availability again or their price tag can be quite um out of range at times. Um like it's obviously because of things that are going on geopolitically. Some of the stones that come from Russia are harder to come by. um and things like that. Or like there's a lot with lapis lazuli because the largest lapis lazuli mines are in Afghanistan, and when the Taliban took over Afghanistan again, it's like, well, do you really want to be giving your money to the Taliban? But there are other places that produce lapis. Like the most beautiful pieces of lapis are Afghani lapis, but there are mines in China. I've noticed the China lapis tends to be a little more of a brilliant blue, like a cerulean blue. Whereas the Brazilian lapis tends to be a little grayish. Hi, Shade Shifter. Hello. Um, wow, Eddie. Yeah, I can one up you on that. You said Eddie says my cat shit on the tile floor and tried to bury it today. She's special. Yeah, my old cat Max crapped on my alarm clock once. Yeah. Yeah, I have like everything is just got crystals all over it. Like I'm big on crystal grids. Like I can see at least three from here. Um, Larimer, I like rainbow fluorite a lot. I do have some pieces of Larimer. I just used them in a grid that I made earlier this week. I think earlier this week. One I really like. I mean, sometimes there's things that are categorized in the crystals category, but are kind of other. Like red coral is really great. That one is good if you're dealing with a lot of like bullying or like misogynistic nonsense. But it's also important with some of the stones to make sure that you're getting them from ethical sources, or and that someone's not just illegally strip mining coral reefs. But some of those are used in like jewelry making. So like what I ended up getting were like some cabochons of red coral that I use in grids. Yeah, I've had to take a little bit of break from going to crystal shows because yeah, I would leave with like so very many crystals and various things. Um, and I have a friend who runs a crystal shop locally too, so that gets me in trouble on occasion because she does live sales on Instagram. She also does a lot of vintage glass stuff. I think the only piece of vintage glass I have is this Well, there's offerings in it, but it's like a green glass. I think it may have had a candle in it originally, but she has a lot of vintage glass stuff she does. So that gets me in trouble. I can't buy more vintage glass because I currently don't have any place for it. Um, but there's some of it I really like the Avon Cape Cod ones. I have a goblet over there with that, and there's some really beautiful black ones that I have, and like iridescent purple. I do not, however, like milk glass. I'm like, it's hard to tell with the lighting, but like the back of my hair looks really weird color wise. I sell things internationally. As far as like them being in stores, that it gets complicated with like import export stuff, and shipping can be a gigantic ass pain. So, especially import taxes, because God, like sometimes like you are paying just as much in import taxes as you are on what you the amount of money you spent on something. Ooh, that sucks. Yeah, I mean, I have a few places that I buy specific things from as far as crystals go. I use a lot of tumbles and things, so those I'm not as. I mean, I have my sources for buying stuff, although every once in a while there's just something that. Yeah, I don't blame you on that one. Like I have a couple wholesale accounts with like various crystal places, but Corey, what are you doing? Yes, Moon was over there sleeping nicely. Thank you for checking in on her, which is going to invariably end up in you two chasing each other around like maniacs. Yeah, that sucks. It's like I try to, when I do go to like gem shows and stuff, getting like the cards, the business cards, and like, connecting with those with them. Um, because yeah, you can always order things otherwise. So would love to know your thoughts on beauty and self-care as glamour magic, as offerings to the infernal. Also curious if you use bones in your working. I don't use bones that often. I mean, I have like two um let's see, no, I have three. So my main wand I have has a like deer jawbone at the one end, and I have like two sort of, I don't know, like they're deer antlers, but they have a little bit of the skull attached, but it's not like a full skull thing. And I have like some bone fragment stuff that I got from the Luciferian Apotheca. I don't use bones that much, I would say. Um, as far as I really need to do more in the glamour magic area. It's one of those ones like, do I have a book on glamour magic? I thought I did, but maybe I don't. Maybe I'm thinking of my morbid magic book, morbid glamour, same thing. What time is it? Okay, it's 11:25. Um, so yeah, I mean, I do a lot of work with self love and self care, especially working with Lucifer. But as far as glamour magic goes, that's one of those areas where I'm like, I need to do a deeper dive into it. Alyssa asked, I'm curious as to how BB started. So I started my business. Um, I mean, technically, I started it and founded it in 2018. Um, but I had started doing stuff like into 2017 after I got divorced. So, like I started doing like my aromatherapy certifications and all of that. Um, I so I officially founded it. I was doing more like more traditional aromatherapy and herbalism stuff at the time. I got or and some like skincare kind of stuff. I got more into the witchier stuff like in 2019, doing that in 2019. I just kind of started it as a side hustle because after I got divorced, I just kind of was like, I'm not gonna be able to afford to live my life literally based on what I was making at my day job. So I needed something to kind of pad that a little bit. And it just kind of grew from there. And honestly, like, I mean, things kind of blew up. Like, I thought COVID was going to kill my business because I was, at the time, I was doing a lot more, like, vending at a lot of in person events and stuff like that. But turned out COVID ended up being good for business because people started buying everything online. So that's kind of where how it progressed. And, it's around the COVID time was when I started my YouTube channel and I was on other people's YouTube channels and stuff like that. So it just kind of grew from there. It continued to grow through 2021. Things have been, I was just talking about this earlier, kind of like, because in the States, the economy has kind of been in the shitter for the past year, it's kind of plateaued in a way. So it's holding steady, but I'm not seeing the same growth that I did, in 2020 and 2021 in that sense. Cauldron is, are you pulling cards? I hadn't planned on it, but I usually, if I do Oracle cards. If anyone's interested in that, my decks are over there, so they're not too far away. If anyone would be interested in that. Um, Shade says, I love using self care, beauty in my creative pursuits, good food as not only a fundamental part of my practice, but also to pass energetic offerings to man. Yeah, I agree on that. Too. Like, I think sometimes the spirits you work with kind of experience things through you. So, like, I think like when I do food offerings, I don't just, leave a steak on my altar in that sense. Like, I have the steak in communion with that entity. And boy, does Azazel love some steak and potatoes, and also cinnamon mini donuts. So I'll do things like that, where it's like a shared meal with that entity rather than slapping. Like, the only one I do that for, like, I'll put apples on Santa Morte's altar, but outside of that, I especially with having cats, because if I left a steak on the altar, Corey would very much enjoy that, right, Corey? Because I'm pretty sure I would find that steak anywhere but the altar within a very short amount of time, because that cat has no shame. Because he's literally walked up to my plate while I'm eating and just, like, ran off with half a steak once. I'm like, are you serious, cat? Are you serious? Um, yeah, this year's kind of just seems to be more of the same, as far as, I mean, like, granted, like, gas prices have come down a little bit, but, like, it just seems like everything, I mean, even like every time I order supplies, they're just more expensive. Um, sure, let me about pulling cards, I will move this here. Let's see, what can I reach from here? I have lots of Oracle decks. Any particular areas of that people would want me to pull decks for, or I can kind of scooch a little bit so I can reach them all from here. All right, so I guess since they're all handy, instead of just pulling them all out. So since you asked first from the cauldron, what? I mean, I guess I can intuitively pull some cards for you. Yeah, like I'm trying to get out of the city before next year. Um, so you said your friend in real estate says next year the fall. Are we talking about like the economy or the real estate market or okay, let me see what we're gonna slide. Luckily this chair moves pretty easily. Da-dum. Let me see what decks call out to me here. So the deck that, well, not only was one of the closer ones, but that I felt compelled to. So what message do you need to know? This is the Devil's deck by Shiva Honey. It's a tool for satanic enlightenment. It's also there, but unfortunately the book's over there on the other side of the room. It also goes with her companion book, The Devil's Tome. Yeah, they're really beautiful. It's a really beautiful, like the cards have, this is just the back of them where, I mean, it's kind of got that gold foil. So sometimes they go with particular rituals that she has in the book. Sorry, I've got a card. Okay. So the first card that came out for you is Bind, Cut, Banish. Yes, the illustrations are not. I mean, they're all just sort of that kind of black and white graphic illustration, but I just like that it's okay. My least favorite thing with Oracle cards is every single book is entirely different with and sometimes they're alphabetical, sometimes they have numbers, and sometimes who the fuck knows. So, anyways, what it says for the Satanic Insight for Bind, Cut, and Banish. What situations are holding you down? Which relationships are stealing your air? Take an inventory of all that restricts you. Can you move past the trauma that has bound you? Find the courage to examine your discomfort and make a commitment to liberation. So it says a recommended ritual is to do any kind of binding or banishing ritual or cord cutting ritual. See if there's anything else that comes up. Yeah, I don't do a lot with like tarot readings. I love oracle decks. Bonnie always well, not that she makes fun of me for it, but like I'm always like I just don't have the confidence to do it of tarot for some reason. But so the next card that came up is Generosity. This is from the same deck. Okay, let's be back here. So, develop a balance between giving and receiving. Establish symbiotic relationships with those around you. Find space where you can thrive within this excellence or within this exchange. Where can you reframe relationships so that they're more balanced? I feel like that kind of is maybe where that bind, cut, banish comes from. How can you give back to your friends, family, and community? How can you give back to yourself? Give, but not to the point where you feel depleted. Ask for what you need. I'll pull one more for you. Yeah, like when I do like the oracle readings, like what, like for private client ones, like I usually put everything into like I usually use like 4 or 5 decks and like multiple cards, and I usually put everything into like a PDF document because it sort of helps me to kind of like get confirmation and visually sort of put things together. So, and the last card is Feral. Who doesn't? We all need to be a little more feral sometimes. All right, let's see where this one is. So, feral. Animals can give you love, companionship, and wisdom. Do you have pets? What insights can you find from them? How can you form more symbiotic relationships with the animals around you and nature? Spend quality time with animals, embrace love and play, and engage with the rhythm of nature. Connect with your wild side. To be fair, yep. I've been obviously I've been on that same path lately of, cutting some cords with people who I had like business collaborations or partnerships with, um, and stuff like that. So, would anyone else like some cards pulled while I'm here? So I have plenty of decks. I so pardon while I go through my decks. I can't. What is that deck? We're doing a blind pull on the shelf. So I can't see what's in the corner. All right, I think we'll use this. Yeah, that's fine. This is for Lissa. This is the Wisdom of the House of Night. This is probably one of my favorite Oracle decks. It's kind of based on the goddess Nyx, Nyx. I want to say that's Greek. If it's not Greek, then it's Roman. Might be one of the Titans, but this is probably one of my go-to decks with for oracle readings. Some of them are, there's a lot of decks that I have that are kind of meh, or each card, like the description of is, like a freaking book. So, all right. So what do we have? For Alyssa, we have the first card is called Fragment. Yeah, I really like Oracle decks because they're all like so different. So, Fragment. Sometimes it seems that life is split into so many parts, all of them separate and difficult to bring together. Family, friends, work, study, activities can all seem unrelated to each other. You are always whole, even if at times things feel separate and fragmented. That is only an illusion. Choosing the symbol reminds you that all the moving parts of your life are important. If the one you're asking about seems confusing, focus on the one that brings you clarity. Be here now and know that I, Nyx, love you and see you as beautiful and whole, regardless of how disconnected things seem. Also, remember to take a step back when you're trying to understand something. You may be looking at only one piece of a giant puzzle, a fragment of the truth. See the big picture through my eyes, and no matter what, all is well. pull a couple other cards for you. And I will do Shade Shifter next. The next card we have is Fulfillment. The artwork on some of these cards is just phenomenal. And Fulfillment says, this is a sign that all your needs are being met, or that you are close to achieving your goal. Celebrate your choices at this time, for you have drawn the symbol of fulfillment. Now is the time to integrate and digest what you have learned of late. Savor every moment and know that every encounter is intended to feed your soul. You are meant to have a rich, satisfying life and taste all the experience has to offer. Look around and recognize all the ways that your life is already full. You have so many reasons to feel good about yourself. All is well and will be when you choose fulfillment. That's interesting, with the whole combined with the fragment one, because I know for me, like I always see that glass is like half empty. Like it's not half full, it's half empty. It's almost gone. I'm gonna die. Oh my god. So yeah, I think those two are kind of telling you, like, looking at the big picture and then kind of the fulfillment aspect of it. And the last card is Beauty. And what did Beauty have? 40. Yeah, I always find pulling 3 cards from the oracles like somehow seems to get like a good, at least part of the story. Beauty. Every rose has its thorn, and the symbol of beauty reminds you that beauty is never perfect. Just as the beautiful experiences you have will not be perfect forever. When you revel in the beauty that is true, you can look at yourself in the mirror and realize that you are already perfect as you are. When you choose the symbol, it is a sign that beauty is all around you. Keep a positive attitude, expect wonderful things, and they will come to you. See yourself as beautiful and know that beauty is not skin deep. It includes qualities that lie well beneath the surface. Look for the true beauty in others as well, and always look beyond appearances. Yeah, that sort of seems to kind of be a theme here with these 3 cards, with the fragment, fulfillment, and beauty. It's kind of, seeing the big picture, and some things are easier said than done, for sure. But I think that's that was a nice message with that one. I like that. And Shade Shifter was next. Was there any area of focus, or should I just pull a random deck from somewhere? Hold on. Let me move these. Ah! All right. Just dropped a few on the floor. What am I feeling for? I am feeling Liminal Spirits. So this is for Shade. And this is the Liminal Spirits deck by Laura Tempest Zakroff. She's an amazing artist, and she also has quite a few books. I really enjoyed what the name of the book? I just read by her recently. Weave the Liminal. That one is really good for, like, if you're just getting into witchcraft, just navigating all the different aspects of it. That one was a really great book. And Kellyanne Maddox's Rebel Witch, Carving a Craft That's Your Own, something like that. Those 2 are really good books for beginners. So, all right. So this is for Shade Shifter, and I'm going to pull some cards. So the first card we got was Oak. So these ones are kind of split up into sort of like plants, animals, elements, and things like that. Maybe some minerals. What would this one be under? So this is trees, obviously. Okay, so oak. The mighty and tall oak emerges from a tiny acorn. The oak is seen as a symbol of strength, honor, knowledge, divination, and longevity, and is associated with many deities, including Zeus, Dagda, and Thor, to name just a few. Perhaps it is because of these deities that the oak has a reputation for being prone to lightning strikes. The face of the enigmatic green man is often made from oak leaves. The oak grows with slow and steady progress, which results in its wood being strong and durable. Messages. Stand your ground and be proud. What you're putting your energy and belief into is worthwhile and honorable. Progress may be hard to see in the present, but the future will reveal the significant impact of your efforts. Don't overlook the little details because they seem unimportant or commonplace. Those details could become larger obstacles or issues very quickly. There's a doorway or an opportunity right in front of you that you haven't discovered yet. Relax your mind and allow your vision to blur, and it will become apparent. So let's see what else we have in here. Yeah, I love this. I love this deck. It's maybe been one of the first Oracle decks I bought, or second maybe. So next we have Burial Ground. Let's see. Sorry, I just kind of have to guess the section this one is in. Not really. Aha. Burial ground is a place of memory, a monument to those who have come before us, and a reminder of our own futures. Its connection with death is not one to be feared but embraced. Death is a transition, not an ending. The sacred space of the burial ground provides meeting ground of place and spirit. I feel like this one is probably like an indicator of doing like some underworld, like working with like the underworld kind of spirits and deities like Santa Muerte or Persephone, Hecate even, and like there's a whole bunch of others. Hel, Hel, the Norse goddess. So the messages of the burial ground. Among the standing stones, we can dance with the dead, the otherkin, and the spirits of place if we dare. But we must be cautious not to lose track of our path or release our ties to this earthly realm, for it is not yet our time to reside outside of it. You see those hills? Those are not just the land. They are made up of bones of your ancestors. That's funny. Weren't you asking me about if I use bones in magic at all? Honor them by walking your path, knowing and respecting your power. Make peace with the memory. Leave a stone behind to make that memory's impact. And then you may travel with lighter spirit moving forward. I'll pull one last one for you. Was there anyone else who had wanted some cards pulled? So this is Peacock. What's interesting is you have a very the color scheme on the cards all kind of match. It's like you have the initial one, it's just green, and then you have the blue, and then you have blue and green at the end with the peacock. Flaunting its painted fan of brilliantly colored feathers. The peacock is associated with beauty, boldness, vision, prosperity, royalty, spirituality, and watchfulness. This opulent spirit moves with grace, confidence, and a sense of its own grandness. Its harsh voice may seem incongruous with the rest of its beauty, but the peacock reminds that we are all a mixture of traits and qualities that some admire and others may abhor. Lore surrounding the phenomena of peacocks killing and eating poisonous serpents suggests that things we fear may be used to transform and strengthen us. Self-love is a radical act that defies society's standards and boxes. Rather than focusing on the things you perceive as negative, honor your whole self as beautiful being, flaws and all. There is This is really funny because you were asking about glamour magic too. There's bold glamour magic in physically altering our appearance. Makeup, fancy dress, costuming, and other physical touch ups can all have deeper positive impact, especially when we're feeling down or disassociated from our bodies. It's perfectly fine to put on a display and show them off from time to time, rather than seeing this behavior as hiding reality. View it as showing the world who you really are inside. There are times when it's important to be quiet and subdued, and times when you need to be loud, bold, and dramatic. Inner vision and spiritual perception will reveal to you which time it is now. So hopefully that those messages were pertinent. I think it was definitely interesting that a couple of the things you had asked questions about earlier came up in that. So if there's anyone else, I mean, I can pull cards at any time. So if there's anyone else who wants cards pulled, by all means. I'm just getting this put back in here so I don't lose it. Get over there. There we go. Yes, so I have quite a lot of decks. I don't have as many tarot decks. I mean, I have, as far as tarot decks I use, I have the Oracle Leviathan. I think probably my top ones are the Oracle Leviathan, the Santa Muerte one, and what was the other one? The Thoth deck I like a lot, and the Mother Peace deck, which is a circular card deck. There's some tarot decks I have that I use like more like Oracle decks, like the Occult Tarot or the Daemon Tarot. And I just have like some art book or like the artistic ones. Um, like the Salvador Dali deck, which I love because I love Salvador Dali. The only thing I do not love about the deck is that the cards aren't numbered. So like sometimes you're like, is that a 6 of wands or a 7 of wands? And you have to sit there kind of counting the wands, and then you get silly. But hello, Moon, what's up? What's up, Moonchild? What was that? Was there a noise? Do you want to come sit on the chair? Oh, squish. We have a moon. I caught you. I caught you. She's like, how dare you? I need to cut your nails. I need to cut your nails. Ow. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that was very relevant since I was thinking about things about myself at my detract from what I'm. Yeah, yeah, I could see that. I feel sometimes like when I do oracle readings, occasionally I feel like there's like a little message that'll come through for me too. And then when I'm doing, I'm like, oh yeah, I should take my own advice on that, or oh, that's relevant to me right now. I'm having that moment. Like I always have this late night moment of, did I eat enough food today? Um, did eat. I probably need another meal before bed. I did sleep a little later today, so I'm a little off schedule. But I'm known for my 2 a.m. dinners. Did anyone have any other questions or topics they'd like me to talk about? Oh, that's cool. Are you doing the certifications? Yeah, I love doing Reiki. I really need to finish up my level 2 and 3 shamanic Reiki. Good to know on the strawberries. My favorite thing to do with strawberries, which sounds like it's going to lead to a really kinky story, but not really. If you could get like the really large strawberries, if you shell them out a little bit and fill them with cheesecake and drizzle a little bit of chocolate over it, that's the bomb. There's a lot of places that do. Um, I mean, you want to make sure you're going to getting like a certification from a legitimate and reputable, place or teacher. I mean, you can there's like online courses on like those places like Udemy and things like that. I would stay away from doing that. Like I did my Usui Reiki through Learn Reiki Philadelphia. They do most of the stuff online now, so um, it's obviously open to people who are not, located in Philadelphia. Um, if you want to learn it in person, you can look something up locally. Um, like the shamanic Reiki, I did the level 1 through shamanic Reiki worldwide, I believe, is the name of it. But oh, that's cool. Pure energy healing. That sounds interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of different healing modalities. There's like IET, which is integrated energy. What the hell does it stand for? I always forget. I know my Reiki teacher has her cert in that. I just never remember. It's integrated something. Integrated energy technique. I need to know what it is, so I'm Googling it. Integrated energy therapy. Okay, well, I think that's it. Okay, yeah. So IET works more with like angelic energy. Yeah, I am all about the luxurious, delectable desserts. Maybe a very decadent person in that sense. There's a in Philadelphia, there's a restaurant. I think it's still there. It's called the Victor Cafe, and all the servers are students from the local like opera school. So what they do through, I mean, it's not a quick place to grab a bite to eat. Um, but all the servers are opera singers. So like every 15 minutes, like they'll perform an aria or some clip from or something from like an opera like while you're having a meal, which is really cool. But they have this amazing dessert. I think they might have another version, a couple like this, but they have this amazing lemon sorbet that's served inside of like a hollowed out lemon and like a frozen lemon, and it's so amazing. The Art of Psychic Reiki. Hmm, do I have that one? I have a lot of different books on Reiki and crystal Reiki. Yeah, the one that I recommend is the Magic of Reiki by Christopher Penzak. I think I've showed that one before. That's like a really good overview on the different types of Reiki and what it entails, um, and kind of giving you a lot of because there's a lot of different types of Reiki that have cropped up over the years that are developed by individual practitioners. So it goes over that. And as I mentioned, I think during one of the other ones is there was a chaos magic version of called Chaos Reiki at some point in time. I've had a hard time finding any further uh, information on it, but Chaos Reiki was a thing that existed. Yeah, I'll have to check out PEH sometime. I like the different like healing modalities. Let's look at the other. Do I have the psychic one? What can I do? If I do, I can't see it from here because I don't have my glasses on. What is that? I have the magic of crystal alchemy. Did I read this? Yes, I did. Okay. I'm like, what is this book? I'm like, okay. I can't always tell with the books that I have that if I've read them or not. Yeah, I mean, decadence really does have, especially on the left-hand path. There's with decadence, indulgence. I think it's kind of one of those things. I'm like all things in balance. You don't want to be eating. You know, while on the subject of German things from that Eddie and I've been going back and forth on PA stuff. One of my favorite desserts is Schwarzwälder Kirschtorte, which is like Black Forest cherry cake. But you don't want to eat Black Forest cherry cake every day because it's not, while it's decadent and indulgent, it's also not good for the waistline, and also a very, very laborious cake to make. And it's not always easy to find Kirschwasser, which is like a cherry liqueur. Yeah, I mean it's. I'm trying to think of what the decadence. I mean, there's definite hedonistic approaches to, uh, the left hand path more so maybe than others, but I don't know. Balance is key. That's my thing. I tried to read the Angelarium based on your recommendations from the last live stream, but realized it was a bit too advanced. So I'm going back. Yeah, the Angelarium. I have the Oracle deck I just had out. But because I have the book too, and the one for the Watchers. Yeah, this is definitely something that's a little more niche. But the artwork is just fucking phenomenal. But I mean, that's really going into a lot of the angelic lore. So if that's really not your area of interest or expertise, I mean, like for me, even just kind of flipping through this, um, I mean, the artwork is just beautiful, beautiful. Lemon bars so sour they make your head implode. I love anything lemon. I'm a big fan of that, and hopefully, I'm not going to knock over all my books into that. And there was also the Angelarium Book of the Watchers, and these are by Peter Moorbacher, is the I guess the author, and he does the artwork. But yeah, this is definitely a little more uh, down the road intensive. Like I haven't really fully gotten into all of all of this aspect. Like, so it's kind of thematic, and it's also ooh. Wow, Azazel is pretty freaking sexy in this. He always shows up like a monk for me. I'm like, why Azazel? Why ain't you showing up like this for me? Yeah, that's not how I picture Shemyaza, but I like the lore of the Watchers and the stuff that comes from the Book of Enoch. But I'm not really. I'm gonna have to figure out how to put that back up there. But I haven't really done a whole lot with like Enochian magic per se. I think I come back to the Angel Air. Yeah, I do that too with things like sometimes, I go through phases, or I'm like get really interested in one aspect, and then like I picked up a book on the cliff off stuff, but I haven't really done much with the cliff off, because I just don't feel like it's where I need to be right now. So yeah, I agree. It's like makeup or artistic pursuits. It can be a tool, just don't take it too far. Yeah. Those were the Angelarium Book of Watchers, and the Angelarium Book of Emanations. I think I got them they did a Kickstarter. I don't know if they're available yet commercially. And then, like, the Angelarium Oracle of Emanations Oracle deck has been out for a long time. It's also by the same artist/author. So, you know, I mean, the artwork is just phenomenal on these. So, um, I think it gives a better explanation of. So the Angelarium is a blend of the rich history of the Kabbalah, which is an esoteric interpretation of the Jewish Torah and the Zohar. So it's going to have a little bit. This one, the Angelarium, is a little bit more about like the Tree of Life. So it's got the 11 emanations and the 22 paths. I don't think they have a Oracle deck for the Book of Watchers yet, but that one, I picked that up last year sometime. Yeah, the books are gorgeous. I mean, they're really nice. I mean, they're hardback. I mean, got a really nice texture to them. Yeah, everyone's as much as I hate Facebook recommend like sponsored ads and recommendation. I mostly hate it because it knows me so well. It actually like recommends things relevant to my interests, except for like if I have to like randomly buy something for like you know on the offshoot chance I buy something for my niece and nephew for Christmas, and then I get like children's stuff recommended to me. But most of the time, it knows me too well. But sorry, I just like completely zoned out and had a conversation inside my head with myself about something. Yeah, I'm probably gonna log. I mean, I've been on, so it's a little bit after midnight. So I've been on for about 2 hours now. I will have to make my late night dinner at some point. Yeah, I don't know if 10 o'clock is like the best time for starting, or if I should start at 11 or earlier. I'm on the East Coast in the US, so um, night, Eddie. It's good to see you. Yeah, I'm not tired per se. I just I think I need to just lay on the couch and stare at the TV for a while. Not really watch TV, but just sort of have my late night dinner and chill a bit. I had one of my fly agaric amanita muscaria uh, gummies last night, so um, they make me sleep really well, too well. It's the danger of sleeping too well when you're older and have chronic pain and mobility issues. Is if you sleep too well, you wake up in a lot of pain because you didn't move around enough and you're like really stiff. Yeah. If there's any, hold on. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'm probably gonna, call it myself. If there's any uh questions anyone has, um, last call, and I will be back again next Saturday as well, probably around the same time. Um, but I think Corey needs some snuggles. He looks very sad, curled up on the couch. But anyways, before I forget, thank you all for watching. Um, don't forget to click like and subscribe if you haven't already, and the notification on so you get notified when I drop new videos and when I live stream. Although YouTube is often not so great actually with giving you notifications, but I can't tell you how many times like I have to remember when people stream things because otherwise, um, like if I see it pop up like upcoming live stream, I have to click notify me for it actually to notify me, which is very annoying. Oh, nice. When's Mel's birthday? Cool. Right, because he's a Taurus. I knew that. 28th. Oh, it's the day after my mom's birthday. But anyways, I'm gonna wrap up. I'm gonna have some dinner, which probably will be an accumulation of snacks, and we watch some TV and chill out because I know I'm not going to go to sleep anytime soon. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I'll be back again next week sometime. I love you all.